you for joining today's Get Ready to Sell. Okay, I have 3 points to remind you before I hand over to Pete for today's session. So let me start quickly. The first one is about the session material. If you will be interested in downloading the slide set, know that I will share a link in the chat panel later on. And using this link, you could go into the SharePoint Online folder, slide set. And know that if you come back tomorrow, you could also find the same recording at the end of the session. And then the other point is about earning credits, and for that you may already know that you will be able to earn 1 credit point just by attending this session. And to enable it, I will provide another link in the chat panel. And using this link, basically you could go into the CSOD system and register your attendance, as well as you will have the opportunity to take a short quiz, which is implemented in the system and waiting for you. So I would encourage you to take it just to test your learning from the session. And know that it's very short, very quick. And if you are from CEO, you will be able to earn 1 credit point in addition to the attendance credit. Then the third and the last comment I have is about your potential questions. And for that, I would kindly request you to submit your questions in the Q&A panel, not in chat. It will be much easier for our presenters to find all of the questions in Q&A all together, rather than scrolling up and down in the chat. Okay, so let me start the recording now, and Pete, I will just talk to you now.
Thank you, Sana. So hopefully you can hear me and see my screen.
Yes, I'm able.
Okay, so thank you everybody for joining this session. This is our Increase Sales with Anytime, Anywhere training. As part of the Customer Training Services and GS, we're looking to improve our sales rate with our online training portfolio. So in the session, we're going to have a look at what our online portfolio is and how we can offer it to customers, maximizing the value for Nokia. So let's start, and we're going to follow the usual GRTS structure here. First of all, we'll look at what's driving the need for this. So it's our why statement. Online training is becoming increasingly important. Then we're going to look at what our online training portfolio is and how we've changed the packaging of it for offers towards our customers. And then we're going to talk about how to make a compelling offer to our customers to hopefully get an upsell of our online training portfolio. Then there hopefully will be about 15 to 20 minutes at the end of this for Q&A. And as Zainab said, please put the questions into the Q&A panel, not the chat panel. But you will need your chat panel. There are a couple of questions I'll be asking you as the audience as we go through this. So let's start with why. Why is it important for us to put more focus and effort on selling our existing online portfolio to our customers? So I want to focus in on the two drivers we have here, the customer drivers and the internal drivers. On the customer side, we have 3 drivers. We have the anytime driver, which is they want access to training anytime, faster, almost immediate access to knowledge and skills. Then we have the anywhere driver, which is easier access to training wherever I am, whether I've got my mobile with me or my laptop with me, I want to access knowledge and the skills that I need. The third driver is the current situation with COVID-19. This is making it much more important for our customers to consume training through online delivery channels. Traveling to classrooms is not really a possibility at the moment. And getting trainers to fly around the world isn't working very well for us. Getting students to move around the world isn't working very well for customers. So those are the 3 drivers on the customer side. On the internal side, we have 3 drivers as well. The first of these is the value leakage we see in our online portfolio. We are not capturing the true value of that portfolio. We are also, as part of our strategy, looking to develop this online portfolio to be much richer, to have more content, to address more advanced topics. And we need to improve our value capture if we're going to really get the full value of the final portfolio when we finish developing it. And the third driver is to give our customers an improved experience. It's fair to say that the whole process of finding online training from Nokia registering for it, accessing it, is not as easy as it could be, and certainly can't be considered best in class. So this is a small step towards improving that experience for the customer. So this is where I've got a couple of questions for you. So the first one here that I'd like you to think about is, what do you think the value or revenue potential of our online portfolio is? So we have about 500 or so courses in our online portfolio. We're looking to increase that by 3 or 4 times by 2023. So the question is, what value do you think we should be getting from this portfolio? If we were to sell it to our customers at the market rate, how much revenue would we be generating with this small part of our portfolio? So I'll give you a second, those of you who are paying attention, to put some answers in chat. I can't see any responses yet, so I'll give you a little bit longer. Okay, so as you're not too keen on putting estimations into chat, I shall give you the answer here. So Ladios, it would be nice if it was 300 million, but our online training portfolio is not that profitable at the moment or has that much value. So just based on what we have available, we should be getting revenue in the region of about 9.8 million for this portfolio, especially by 2023 when we've added more value and more content. So I know this isn't a big number in the context of Nokia, but in the context of our training business, this accounts for about 1/6 of the revenue we currently get from our customers for training. This is what we should be getting. So the next question for you is, what percentage of that value do you think we're currently leaking towards our customers? How much value are we failing to capture with our training? So we know there's a potential of about 10 million that we should be able to achieve. And of course, we will look to take that further as we develop our online training strategy. But how much of this do you think we're losing? So we've got 25%, Mark saying that 100%, 10 million of 10 million we're not getting. So it's between those two numbers, 25 and 100%. In reality, in 2019, we delivered 38,000 hours of online training, and we only got revenue for 70%, for 30% of it. Our revenue or value leakage was about 70% of the value of the portfolio, which is not really acceptable for any part of the business. This is a real pain for us as an organization. Online training is an easy to understand concept. It's well accepted by everybody that it's a good thing. And, it is kind of the default way of consuming micro-learning or immediate learning within every sort of community, organization or business. We fail to charge for it, or we fail to get revenue for it. So we want to address that in this session. How are we going to capture the value of this, and what changes are we making to make that possible? So this gives us our framework for our elevator pitch. So if we start by looking at the customer pain that we're going to address in the rest of the session, it's about getting access to available online training to gain the benefits of learning when you need it, not in 6 weeks or 12 weeks' time. Our solution that we're going to go through is to offer an online subscription, as this is the default and accepted way of offering online training, which will give access to our anytime, anywhere portfolio of web-based training and mobile learning for the MN product range. Remember, Customer Training Services is focused on the MN business, but we do work with the other business groups to have similar strategies and align our commercial offerings. The investment the customer will have to make in this is, of course, time and money. The time will be for a 12-month subscription for a fixed number of users, and the time will be to allow their staff to consume learning, which is actually easier when we leverage our online portfolio, because typically modules can be done in 10, 15, 20 minutes. Some are longer, some are shorter, but it makes it easier to consume the knowledge and to consume just the knowledge and develop the skills you need as and when you need them. And finally, the return our customer will get is the improved access to knowledge and skills in the flow of work, which will make them more productive, more efficient, more effective, and faster access to those benefits because they're not having to wait to schedule classroom sessions or wait for virtual classroom sessions. And the other key benefit here is there's less disruption and less delay. Sending people on training courses, especially for the introductory topics, is nice, it's effective, but it does cause disruption. If you have 6 people out of a team for a day to learn about the basics of 5G, You have to cover their work for one day. That could mean changing shift patterns. It could mean paying additional overtime. So the cost of that classroom session is quite high. Whereas we have some very good, very effective online training for the same topics. And it would make it much more sense for those 6 people to consume that training as and when they had time in their workday, rather than disrupt a full day of work or maybe have a knock-on impact for several days of work. So that's our elevator pitch and what we're going to build on in the rest of this position. So hopefully by now you understand the drivers from the customer side, in that they want access to knowledge and skills wherever they are, whenever they need it. And from our side, we need to improve our value capture and prevent the value leakage we see in the portfolio. So let's have a look at the portfolio now. Let's have a look at what's contained within it and what we can offer our customers. And we've just got 2 slides to summarize this, because our portfolio is quite large, and if we went through all the different details of it, we would be here for quite a while. So the first thing is our online or web-based training. This covers 3 areas: technology, product, and planning. And it goes across the entire MM product range. So we have offerings in all 3 areas for 2G, 3G, 4G, SRAN. For 5G, we have the product and technology. We're still developing the planning. We have small cells, microwave, Nokia data center solutions, and we've been able to add into this the NetAct online modules that are relevant for a 3G RAN network. In total, this gives customers a portfolio of 350 web-based training sessions with a total delivery time of 230 hours, approximately. And then mobile learning, which is a new area for us and only available with this commercial model that we're going through, of 125 mobile learning modules, which is about 30 hours of learning. So it's quite an extensive portfolio. It supports the entire MN product portfolio. And a key point here is that as we go through this, any customer that takes a subscription from us will have access to new learning. Now, that new learning could be improvements to existing content. It could be new content for new software releases. But it means that if they have that subscription that we're going to go through, the new learning that is added will become available to them when it's added. They won't need to be told about it. They won't need to go and find it. They won't need to raise a new purchase order for it. So that's a one-shot overview of the online training portfolio. We offer technology, product and planning, online modules for all of our product ranges. NDCS is Nokia Data Center Solution. So it's basically the airframe and its racks, etc. I just saw that question pop up in the chat. Let's focus in on mobile learning, because this is a new venture for us as a company. We have developed with Nokia EDU a mobile learning platform. It's a platform because it contains 2 elements. It contains the back-end systems, which do the content management, user management, entitlement, security, and data management. And then we have the front end, which is the mobile app. The mobile app is available in both Google Play and the Apple App Store now. You can download it. And as a member of Nokia, if you register with your Nokia email address, set up an account, you will have access to our mobile learning portfolio, those 125 items that we talked about. For a customer, they can download it. If they will see a small selection of free content to give them an indication of what we can deliver in terms of microlearning, immersive content such as 360 videos, augmented reality, or just standard videos. They will see examples of job aids that we've developed into mobile learning experiences, and they will be able to see hopefully that it has all the necessary security compliances they would like. The benefits they get from this is that it basically allows you to access that content when you need it. We have our smartphones with us all the time, so if I'm on site and I just want to check my knowledge or reinforce my knowledge on something, I can just have a look at it on my mobile phone. I don't need to get my laptop out and log in and find it. I just fire up the app, go through the content and find what I'm looking for. So the ease of access is greatly improved. The content is only available to customers when they take a subscription. So the good thing about that is that once I've got my subscription, I've got access to all of it. I don't have to pick and choose. The other type of content customers can also get access to on Nokia Learn is customer co-developed content. This is where we have joint content development projects with our customers, typically to solve a particular problem that isn't met by a current portfolio. We develop the content with them. they pay us for it, and often we resell it to other customers. Mobile learning is great for reinforcing and refreshing existing learning that I already have, so I don't forget it. And it's quite interactive compared to some more traditional types of learning. And it's very usable in the day job, just opening up the smartphone and accessing that learning when I need it. So Nokia Learn, search for it in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, have a look at the content there, get excited about it, and promote its value to your customers. So that's basically the portfolio we're talking about. All of our web-based training, which we talked about on the previous slide, and then Nokia Learn and the mobile learning that is available through it. The more fun part of this is about how do we actually sell this to our customers? How do we convince them there is real value in this and they should take it? And we've got quite high value leakage in the online training because it's hard to make the case for buying different modules individually. So I want to give you a caveat here that you need to be aware of, right? This is a new commercial model we're about to go through. It's our first attempt at doing a subscription model. We're not quite at general availability. We hope to be there next month, but to be there, we need feedback. We need to know what customers think of it. We need to know whether we've got our pricing right, whether the terms and conditions are acceptable. We have some feedback from some early cases, which I'll share with you later. But really, we're promoting this now ahead of general availability because we need you to go out, discuss it with your customers, share their feedback and responses so we can refine this into something that is really compelling for our customers. So it's our first attempt. We do need feedback from you. You'll need to test it with your customer. I say that because while most customers are used to buying training as a subscription from, say, Coursera, for example, when they see our commercial model, we will need to help them with it, I think. And you'll see what I mean on the next slide. And we'll also need to get their feedback on what works and doesn't work in a subscription model for them. Because we're early on, we're just before G5, CTS, CPLS, Customer and Partner Learning Services, and SPS, Service Portfolio Sales, are available to support you in putting the offers together and helping you with the value argumentation, customer presentation. So if you decide after this session you want to offer this to your customer, please get in touch. We are here to support you. And like I said, we've had some early successes, which I'm going to talk about in a later slide. So let's look at the detail of this. As you've probably picked up by now, it's a subscription model we want to go to market with for this. It's a 12-month subscription we're asking customers to commit to. And the subscription will be sold in predefined packages or numbers of users. So you can either purchase a 10-user subscription, a 25-user, 50-user, or a 100-user subscription. The figure under the number of users is the annual fee. So for 10 users, we're asking you to pay 30,000 euros for that 12-month subscription, which equates to a per user price of 250 euros per user per month. As being a subscription, there are a couple of features to be aware of. First one is that it auto-renews. This is not pay it once and then it expires. You're signing up to a subscription, so you sign up to a 12-month term that will renew if the customer does not cancel it. Some customers might be nervous about this, but this is how all subscriptions work, and they will be doing subscription with their other vendors, maybe not in the telecom space, but certainly in the learning and development space. To aid that, we will issue a renewal 60 days before the subscription expires, and where possible, we really would like to arrange quarterly in advance invoicing, not quarterly in arrears, but that will depend a little bit on the commercial terms already in place with your customer through either the KA contract or the supply contract. And remember, this 12-month subscription is giving you access to nearly 500 portfolio items with 260 hours worth of content that your customer can consume. Now, at this point, at least one of you is sitting there thinking 250 euros per month per user is a lot of money. I don't think my customer is going to accept that because, after all, Coursera, LinkedIn, Udemy, and Skillsoft offer subscriptions at the 20, 25, 30 euros per user mark. The key thing here is that we are not Coursera, LinkedIn, Udemy, or Skillsoft. We are not a business-to-consumer business. We're not offering a business-to-consumer subscription. We're offering a business-to-business subscription. And that's quite a key point here because we're offering something unique in our subscription that you cannot buy anywhere else. I can broadly purchase the same topics from Coursera as I can from LinkedIn, as I can from Udemy, as I can from Skillsoft. They're all selling the same topics from the same training houses. You know, there's not a lot of unique value in them other than their user experience and their subscription model pricing in terms. For us, it's different. We have unique value in our portfolio that can only be purchased from Nokia. And when we look at the other business-to-business subscriptions, like Juniper, Red Hat, Oracle, and Adobe, you can see they charge significantly more per user per month than we do. And we'll do a bit more of a chat around that when we look at them in more detail later on. So that's the basic commercial model. We want to sell our online training not as a per event thing, but it as a subscription that gives all-you-can-eat access to the entire portfolio for a fixed number of users for a 12-month term. The other aspect to this model, and we mentioned it earlier, is co-development. Nokia Learn is a great platform for us to co-develop content for customers. When we're talking about customer co-development, what we mean is let's find out what our customer's real training need is that we don't currently address. What problems do they have that training could help them with that we can't address with the content we already have available? You know, then let's take those needs, work with the customer to really understand them, bring our technical expertise from our technical teams in, bring our training expertise from Nokia EDU in, and make sure that we develop the right solution, the right mobile learning or web-based session, or it could even be a classroom session or a workshop if it really fits the bill, to give them the content that they need to solve a problem. Now, typically when we do co-development, we do it as a project-based sale. We have two models that we've used. One is where the customer pays for the development, but they don't pay for the consumption. The other one is where they pay for the consumption and not the development. And it really depends on a sort of case-by-case basis as to which one fits best. We've done both recently, one with Sprint, one with Orange. Okay. The key thing, though, is whatever commercial model we agree here, who pays for which parts of it, Nokia retains the ownership of the content. And we do that so we can resell it to other customers. So it's kind of a way of getting customers to fund the development of training or to commit to sales on the back of training development. You know, and often we find if we develop a solution for one customer, there is at least 2, 3, 4, 5 other customers that could do with that solution as well and are keen to take it and buy it from us. So we need to retain the ownership of it. What we will do, if required, is co-branding of the content when we deliver it to the customer that's paid for it. But when we deliver it to other customers, it's always Nokia branded. An example of this that we've done recently is with Sprint in North America. You know, they had a challenge when they were swapping out their MIMO antennas for bigger arrays. Initially, there was an error rate that was too high for this, and they wanted it to be addressed. They worked with us to develop a mobile learning solution, which was, in fact, 2 modules. We had a module on the hardware deployed out in the field. So this was an augmented reality module that showed engineers the hardware they would see when they got out on the field. It allowed them to walk around it to see how it all physically fitted together in an augmented reality space. And then to support that, we had a job aid on how to do the rewiring of the new antennas for those sites. And as a result of that, the error rate has dropped. The customer is happy. They've got a solution that really is proving value to them. Now, unfortunately, I can't give you more quantifiable data on that because Sprint haven't been willing to share that with us, and they don't. If they did have it, they clearly don't want to disseminate it too widely. But it's a good example where we have a problem, and through training, co-developing training, we can solve that problem for the customer. In terms of the successes we've had so far, I just wanted to highlight a few of the early cases we've been working on and some of the learnings from them. So in APJ, we've got 3 cases that we're very close to completing. One, in fact, we have one. So with Vodafone New Zealand, we did make a 10 license offer. The final price was significantly lower than we wanted, and this is really because there was a historical precedent set in that account that we couldn't overcome. So that was the best price we were going to achieve based on the previous terms and conditions and commercial agreements we had with the customer. The good news is that their sister company, Vodafone Australia, look like they're going to accept a much bigger bundle of 50 licenses at a higher price. It's still less than we wanted. They were able to use the fact that Vodafone New Zealand got a lower price to knock us down a bit, but it's still a better price than we got for Vodafone New Zealand, and I think that shows that there is a definite potential to get close to our target pricing here. Optus have gone for a similar deal. The main reason we got a variation from the proposed pricing there was that they agreed to the pricing that in principle, they've agreed to the pricing that we've proposed, but there will be a system deal discount that will apply to it that will bring it down to the level shown there. So the learning we've got from that is, if we want to maximize subscription, really we should be looking to position it as an upsell, maybe not tie it with system deals, because that will tend to drive the achievable revenue down. But sometimes attaching it to a system deal is the right move. In Europe, we have a couple of cases. We have a BT one, which is looking positive. I'm hoping next week we'll get confirmation that they've accepted that. And the price that we're getting there is based on the system deal mechanics. Tele2, we're preparing a standard offer at the standard pricing. It hasn't gone to them yet, so we're not sure whether they're going to negotiate that down, but it looks quite positive at the moment. And in India next month, we're hoping to take a large deal to Vodafone Idea. So, the feedback from customers that we've engaged with so far has been very positive. They all understand how a subscription works. They all like the concept of a subscription for access to the online training. Remember, it's online training, so it's web-based training and the mobile learning. It does not include instructor-led sessions. Instructor-led sessions are outside of this. Yeah, so it's a fairly easy discussion to have. The biggest discussion is around the price levels, and I'm going to come to that in a future slide. What I would say is, as you make your offers to customers or you decide to engage with your customers, please get in touch with us. Keep us in the loop so we know what's going on. We can support you and we can refine our model as we get feedback from the various offers that are happening around the planet. In terms of how you can start the discussion with your customer, I want to use our standard sort of training sales strategy framework, which you should have seen before. We try and think of our customers as going through a life cycle where they are interested in a Nokia solution. Once we convince them it's the right solution, they're ready to trial it. Once we've been successful in the trial, they're ready to deploy it. And once they've just started the deployment, they're ready to operate it. And for each one of these, we have similar but different strategies. So if a customer's interested, we want to raise their awareness. What are our solutions? What are the technologies we use? How do we apply them to our product solutions? If they're looking to trial it, we want to influence them by making sure they're building the right skills and knowledge of our radio solution for the trial to be a success. If they're in deployment, they're going to need additional skills, so we want to develop whatever they've built in the trial phase more towards planning, design, and the skills needed for deployment. Once deployment is underway and they're ready to operate, we need to improve those skills and bring in operational tasks and troubleshooting. So that's kind of the way we try and link the training life cycle to the sort of product sale life cycle that our customers go through. When we're talking about this online portfolio, it can be offered across any of these phases. There is material in there that is applicable to the interested stage to the operate stage. It covers quite a wide variety of knowledge and skills. It doesn't yet go into the sort of intermediate advanced level topics. It will do in time, and we're moving in that direction. And the more customers we get into a subscription, the better positioned we're going to be to leverage intermediate and advanced training through our online portfolio. If you need to focus the discussion with your customer just to help them understand the value of this, try and think about what's the most important part of our portfolio for the customer, depending upon the phase they're in. So if they're interested, focus on technology, because that's what they're going to be getting their head around initially. For trial, focus on the product. For deployment, focus on planning. And then for operate, focus on the fact that this is a good way to reinforce and refresh training. So there's some ideas there on how you can position our web-based training and mobile learning with your customer in the sales cycle. Okay, so now let's talk about managing objections. And the only objection I really want to address here is the most obvious one. Procurement teams in every customer will come back straight away and say, whatever we pitch to them, it's too expensive. We've put some thought into our price level as to how we can make this an easier discussion, even though it's never really that easy discussing price with the customer. So the first thing is make sure they're making the right comparison. Procurement typically will come from a position where they're comparing us to the wrong people, to LinkedIn, to Udemy, to edX, etc., and say, they're only €30 a month. How can you justify €250 a month? So reinforce the fact that actually they're business to consumer. That's not what we're offering. We're offering a business to business subscription. And when you look in the marketplace of the companies we've been able to get data on, you can see they're all significantly higher than us. Juniper at €450 per month, Adobe at 384, Red Hat at 446. And we look at what you get for your money. There are 5 things that are generally offered or could be offered. There's the web-based training, which everyone offers. There's the learning paths, which everybody but Adobe offers. There's the ability to interact with experts, which only Oracle does, and early access to training before it's published, which Red Hat and Oracle offer. For ourselves, we do the web-based, we do the learning paths through the Learning Store, and we also offer mobile learning. And we haven't yet had confirmation from anyone, customers or otherwise, or from these companies' publicly available information that they offer mobile learning yet. They might do, but we haven't been able to find the evidence of it. So if you hear about this, let us know so we can update this. But I think we've got quite a compelling offer there. And at €250, we're definitely at the cheap end of the market. The reason we went in at this level and not higher is because this is going to be a tough sell with some customers. We think it pitches it right for the breadth and depth of our portfolio. And thinking ahead, we do want to bring in things like RC Expert and early access to training. It will take us some time to develop those, but once developed, we need to really capture the value of them. So these are features that we would bring in as upsells to the subscription. They wouldn't be included in the standard subscription as we offer it now, but they would be value packs that we could add into it. The other defense we have of the price is the fact that we do have a unique value. The thing to remember here, firstly, when it comes to the technology training, Nokia is a leading contributor to technology standards, especially the 3GPP standards. So when you're getting technology training from us, you're getting access to a body of knowledge that Nokia has as a leading contributor. You won't get some of our insights from the standard material that's available in Coursera or Skillsoft. There's a lot of generic technology information around there. Ours has a bit more substance and a bit more flavor to it, especially the bits where we're able to leverage Bell Labs and their System X vision. For the product and planning topics, no one else can offer this. It's our intellectual property. It's our knowledge. They can only get this from us. They can't go to Coursera and say, can I have an AirScale SRAM BTS course, please? That just doesn't exist there. So the only place you're going to get that is with us. So it's make the right comparison and push the fact there is a unique value. Yep. And also we are very competitive when you look at the business to business. So also in the discussion, it's good to give examples to help them understand the value of it. So we have some examples here. They're quite simple, but they're good if you've only got sort of 5-10 minutes for the customer and you want to help them to help understand it. So if we're trying to share the value of any time to them, an example would be where I'm an engineer who is given a problem I need to solve. It's a system module sharing problem. And within my customer environment, we're using multi-RAT, multi-radio access technology. I know that from looking at the notes on the case that's been given to me, field engineers added an additional RF module to the OBSAI chain, and there seems to be a problem. Now, it might have been a while since I worked on this configuration. So as such, I want to check my knowledge and understanding of that. So I could go to the support portal, I could look for the customer documentation, I could look back through my own notes, my training notes, I could ask colleagues, all of which takes time and quite a bit of effort. Or if I've got access to the subscription, I can fire up my laptop, go into NLDH, and straight away look at my subscription and see, have I got any online training, web-based training on system module sharing? And there I will find that I have 3 modules available to me, and the one listed on the screen there, the RA23200, is the one that I want to look at. So I can study that for 10 minutes. It covers the principles of the OBSAI RF training And from that, I can get an idea of what possibly has gone wrong. So when I get to site to have a look at this, I know where I'm going to start my investigation. I know what steps I'm likely to want to take to resolve the problem. So having that subscription has given me access to training I can use straight away in my day job to help me do a better job. Then we have the anywhere value, right? Slightly different problem. There is a challenge around LTE and 5G interworking. And as a 4G planner, I'm traveling by train to an operational review where this topic is coming up. I get told that there's something wrong with the X2 interface that needs to be discussed, and a solution is needed fairly urgently because we want the trial we're working on to be a success, right? So while I'm on the train, I can fire up my Nokia Learn app, I can look at the available content, and I find in there, for example, there is some content on LTE and 5G system interworking, RA47031. 15 minutes of watching that training session or training module, and I understand how the LTE features and the 5G features fit together to make the X2 interface work successfully. And I've got an idea now that I really need to focus in on feature LTE 4087, because that's the one that governs this type of interface in the network architecture we currently have deployed. So again, while I'm traveling to the meeting, I'm able to quickly access meaningful content presented in a really intelligent way to help me learn what I need to learn, so I'm ready and prepared for my meeting. The third example here is around how we've improved the customer experience. This is a bit more of a challenge, I accept that, but the problem we have with web-based training registration is if you're doing it on a per event basis, registering for NLDH the first time is hard work. And then once you're in there, you have to find the web-based training you want, which is not always easy, admittedly. Then you need to know if you have access to it. Do we have a commercial arrangement that allows me to access it? If not, I have to go and find someone to sort that out for me. And even finding the right web-based training can mean a call into Nokia for help because the portfolio is quite big and I'm not really sure what I'm looking for. When you've got the subscription, all of the web-based training is structured in a much more intelligent way. You can go into whichever type of training you want. So do I want technology training? Do I want product training? Do I want planning training? And then I can look down the different topics and find the training that is immediately available to me and accessible to me so I can use it. So we make it easier to access our portfolio. We make it easier to find the training you need. And we make it easier to consume it by removing some of the bureaucracy and process steps through having a subscription. So that pretty much is the bulk of what I wanted to talk about. We want you to offer for all of our customers an online subscription for 12 months for a fixed number of users. We want you to look for co-development opportunities. While you're doing this, you will need help and support. These are the people in each market who can help and support you. So please feel free to reach out to anybody on this slide for help and support, and we will do what we can to help you make a successful sale. So the key takeaways that I would like you to take with you, if you take nothing else from this, right? The first one is that our customers really do want faster, easier access to knowledge and skills in the flow of work. This is what they want, and this is what we're trying to give them with our current portfolio and tools. There are some challenges, but we are working to develop new solutions and better solutions for them. Subscription helps simplify the commercials and access to knowledge and skills. It's a much easier discussion to have them trying to sell each e-learning, each web-based training, each mobile element one by one by one. Please remember that the mobile learning content is only available if you buy a subscription. We do not sell just the mobile learning on its own. All right. So you have to have a subscription. The small exception to that is if a customer comes to us and wants to co-develop mobile learning modules with us, they will of course get access to that whether or not they have a subscription, as they're helping us with the development costs or maybe making a commitment to buy an amount of training for us in return for that development. The last point, and probably the most important from a sales point of view, is that please only offer the predefined packages. We are not in a position where we can customize them. We cannot customize the number of users. If your customer wants 18 users, they'll have to choose between buying 2 10-user packs or 1 25-user pack. We are not going to customize the pack sizes. nor are we going to customize the content of the subscription. The subscription will give you access to all of the MN web-based training and mobile learning modules. We are not going to reduce the content so the customer gets a cheaper price. It's all or nothing. You can take each of those modules as much as you want when you have the subscription, so it's all you can eat, but we are not going to break this down into smaller content packages for our customers. So it's very simple. Offer the predefined user packs and the content is fixed. Okay, at this point, normally a poll will start to appear, so you can answer and let us know how well the session's gone. And I will load up the Q&A and we'll see how many questions we can answer in the next 19 minutes. So please answer the poll. And please remember to collect your learning credits or your CO training credits. And please, there will be a survey. No, that is the survey. Let's forget what I was going to say. Let me find the Q&A panel and we will go through the questions. So we've got 9 questions here. So thank you, Mark, for your first comment. Is it ironic that the Y says online training is becoming increasingly important and we're doing this online? Yes, I think it is ironic. I will happily agree with you on that one. Then we have Layas. Maybe I'm not prepared here, but how could I possibly search through the available online training courses? That's a really good question, actually. So the reality is today you have 2 options. You can go to the learning store, either as a customer or as an employee, and you can have a look at the learning catalogs we have set up there with Nokia EDU, which is good. It's got good levels of categorization and content segregation, but it's not always ideal, especially if you're not sure what you're looking for. The other option is to log into Nokia Learning and Development Hub and use the search function there. But again, it's a challenge. When you purchase a subscription, you will find that when you log into Nokia Learning and Development Hub to access your subscription, you have 3 curricula set up for you: a technology curricula, a product curricula, and a planning curricula. If you open up any one of those 3, you're able to see by technology or product the different courses available to you. So it's a small improvement, but it does make it easier for customers to find the training that they want. Ivan, thank you for your question. Will the offered portfolio become fully cross-business group? That is a great question. So our aspiration is to make sure that all business groups become part of this subscription. We understand that there aren't many customers who buy just MN products or just ION products or just Nokia software products. Most customers have products from across the business. We're in discussions with ION, and I think we will be able to quite quickly convince them to join us on this and to have their own subscription that can be sold alongside ours. It's a little bit more challenging with Nokia Software and FN, as they don't have dedicated sales functions for training in the same way that ION and GS have. But it's certainly on our sort of hit list to find out how we can include these guys in the subscription model. So that would just increase the value of it to our customers. Okay, then we've got another question from Mark. How much of our training portfolio is applicable outside of MN, for example, ION, FN, and Nokia Software? You know what, that's a really tough question to answer. I'm familiar with the MN portfolio as the guy responsible for selling it. I think it's quite a lot. So I think it's around 4,000 different learning courses, modules, or objects. I think ION's is of a similar size. The Nokia Software is smaller. FN's is definitely smaller. That's about the best answer I can give you on that. I'll try and see if we can dig out some stats and put them into the material for this session when we upload it. Okay, Stephen, thank you. Oh, Steve, sorry. Thank you for your question. In Android Play Store, there is Nokia Learn and Nokia Learning Store. So the Nokia Learning Store is the app that gives you access to the customer learning store and shows you what training you can purchase from Nokia. So I would ignore that if you're looking for Nokia Learn, which is our mobile learning delivery app. Right, let's see what else we have here. Will Nokia Learn mobile app be linked with NDA? Now, I assume you don't mean Nokia, non-disclosure agreement. I assume you mean Nokia Digital Assistant. We're looking at how we can link the two. They both play in the knowledge space. I would say NDA is more about accessing the wider knowledge base through our standard products, processes, etc., whereas Nokia Learn is very much focused on delivering learning experiences. However, there is a strong case there that if it makes sense, we should push you towards the right app. So if a customer comes onto Nokia Learn and is looking for a specific piece of content or knowledge that can be answered through customer documentation, for example, it might make more sense to push them into Nokia Digital Assistant to get that rather than try and replicate that information in Nokia Learn. So I think there's some work to be done there on how we can make that linkage, but it certainly makes sense. Another question on the app here from Mark Matthews: if we download the app, can we use our .nokia.com login to access the trainings for free? Yes, you can. Yep. So all employees have access to Nokia Learn, and logging in or registering with your Nokia.com email address will give you access to the mobile learning that is available currently, and hopefully you will be able to see that grow over the coming months. Do we have any customers in the US that have tried Nokia Learn? Yes, our biggest user of Nokia Learn and our biggest development partner for Nokia Learn is Sprint. Sprint have really helped us drive this app in the right direction. A little bit of history for you. Initially, we had two mobile apps for learning. We had Nokia On the Go, developed by EDU, and we had the Virtual Tech Trainer, which was developed in partnership with Sprint. As a company, it made no sense to have two learning apps. It made a lot more sense if we had one app that addressed both audiences. So we came together with Nokia EDU and we developed Nokia Learn, which took the best of both apps. And we've now migrated Sprint across to Nokia Learn, and I'm pleased to say they are very happy with it. They haven't told anybody in Nokia yet. Is Nokia Learn something we could add to our proposals bids to the customer when training quotation is required? I think we can add it, but remember, we need to add it in the context of a subscription model. That's how the customer will get access to the content. So I think most customers will see value in it, and if they want the content, they need to have the subscription. Can you comment about subtitles possibility? Thank you, Jose. So this is a big challenge for us. As you're all aware, our company language is English, and several years ago, we took the decision that we would develop training in English only. Now, this is a challenge for us in a number of markets where English is not the preferred language for our customers. We still have moderate success in those markets, but a constant request we get is for training in Spanish, in Portuguese, in Cantonese, which we do, and so on. The big challenge I have with this is that whenever I have customer teams or CEO coming to me and saying, I need training in another language, that's all I get. I get nothing else that helps me understand the business case for this. So my first request is whenever your customer says the language needs to be something other than English, you need to sit down with them and figure out what sales are they going to commit to if we do the translation. Because the translation is not always a simple task. The simplest way to do it is subtitles into existing web-based training. And depending upon the type of web-based training, the platform it was built in, the way it's been sort of compiled, that can be an easy job or it can be a slightly harder job. Sometimes it's necessary, because of the way the web-based training has been built, for us to redevelop the whole module to get a new language in it. Sometimes just adding subtitles is not possible, and we need to do quite a bit of development work. So if you need another language, help us build the business case for it, and we can bring insights from around the market. It's not just about your customer, because we pretty much guarantee if your customer wants it in Spanish, there are other customers who want it in Spanish, but we need the evidence for that. We need to be able to collect that together. We need to be able to build the business case so that we can make these changes to the portfolio. And I think that's the last question. So if there is nothing else, I think we still have 8 minutes or so. No, we've got about 10 minutes left. Is there anything in the chat window I can help answer?
I think there was a couple of questions in the chat from Mark.
From Marcus. I can't see any.
Can the customer quit before 12 months? Any fine?
The customer, from Mr. Gamma, thank you, Mr. Gamma. It's a pleasure to hear from you again. The commitment is for 12 months. That's what they're going to commit to. It's hard to say no, they can't quit, because we all know the reality is if a customer is unhappy, we will have to have a lot of discussions with them. We so far have not agreed on cancellation fines. We want to hold the line that 12 months is 12 months. But I think we'll have to initially take this on a case-by-case basis while we figure out what really works. And then, Marcus, I can now see your second question. Does a programming call include instructor-led training? No, it does not. It is just the mobile learnings and the e-learnings. We did note that one of our business-to-business companies, I think it was Juniper, if you buy enough subscriptions, they give you training day credits as part of the subscription. We're considering that, but I'm not quite sure how that's really going to work. And then we've got a question from Bert. This is something that should be included in all business cases, at least a minimum amount of hours, so they get to try it or offer it as a try and buy. Yeah, try and buy might be an interesting thing. One thing we have said to early adopters, because they feel like they're taking a risk, is that if they commit to 12-month subscription during 2020, we'll give them the last quarter free. So they pay for 3 quarters, get the 4th quarter free, as an incentive, but they do need to make that 12-month commitment. Bert, hopefully you saw the contacts are at the end of the slide, and I think, let's have a look. Yes, I'll add the links to the Learning Store, etc., to the slides so that you can find them. Bert, if you don't get that from me or you can't find it, please get in touch with me and I'll help you out. Okay, I don't see anything else. Let's just check the Q&A again. Oscar, what is the timing for the multi-BG offers? Many, if not the enterprise customers now have multi-BG portfolio. We don't have timelines yet. We're working on it. I really hope that with the support of Karen Lennon and Ion, we can get at least Ion on board in this quarter, if not quarter 4 at the latest. Like I said, with Nokia Software and FN, it's a slightly different challenge because they don't have anybody responsible for the business training. What I would say is, if you have a compelling case for a cross-BG offer, please come to me. Let me know that you have that compelling case, and it may just help move things along. There's a difference between saying, I think this is a great idea, and I have a customer here who says it's a great idea and they're willing to pay for it. Okay, so Zainab, I think that is it.
So, Pete, it's Roberto here. So I would like to stress the importance of this solution as an enabler as well for additional upsell. So this is, having the subscription in place, of course, will help to build on top, like 5G certification and whatever CTS solution we can develop in the future. So, and as well, talking about MN products, having the subscription means that the customer engineers can go through product knowledge. They can get more familiar with MN products, and this could lead to additional maybe discussions at least, and eventually upsell for MN as well. So take this into account as well.
Thank you, Roberto. Okay, I think we can wrap up.
Paul is there, right? The poll is available, sign up, right?
Yeah.
So encourage everyone to go through the poll. It's really important to improve the quality of our sessions. Thanks for that.
Okay, thank you all. Thanks for attendance. I hope it was a useful session for you all. And many thanks, Pete, for all the valuable information you provided. So I will close this session now, reminding that the session recording will be available tomorrow at the same location where the slides are. So that's it. Have a good day all, and hope to see you all at a future session. Goodbye.